Penguin Random House Audio presents The Vagabond's Way, 366 Meditations on Wanderlust, Discovery, and the Art of Travel. This is the author, Rolf Potts. For Kiki. Every day is a journey, and the journey itself is home. Matsuo Basho. Introduction. How to use this book. In studying classic works of literature from across the centuries, one finds that the most affecting travel tales depict journeys as a metaphor for life itself. These stories don't presume to tell us where to go or what to do, but they do show how journeys can enlarge one's way of being in the world. These tales don't prescribe rules for living, they simply inspire us by their very example to live in a more engaged and dynamic way. Indeed, the purest approach to getting the most out of a journey is never revolved around itemized lists of travel strategies. The Vagabond's Way has always involved a simple and open attitude, a mindset that is inseparable from the way we pay attention to life itself. This older, more philosophical way of understanding our journeys is too often overlooked in our time when the act of travel is marketed as a lifestyle accessory. In presenting far-flung landscapes as destinations, the travel industry encourages us to think of places as consumer products, a faintly interchangeable mix of landscapes against which we can shop, dine, and take photos. By this standard, Nepal and Greece offer a, quote, mountains and monasteries product, whereas Rome and Mexico City serve up museums and cathedrals travel options, and Sri Lanka and the Dominican Republic tout competing sand and sea selections. The more we're encouraged to see the world through a commercial lens, the less likely we are to seek out the humbler qualities, things like patience and receptivity and introspection, that compel us to experience the world in a life-enriching way. At its best, travel is embraced not as a flashy backdrop for our lifestyle ambitions, but as an act that touches every aspect of our being. Travel is not a swaggering declaration of self undertaken to impress other people. It's a quiet inquiry, requiring awareness, resilience, and openness to change. Travel is not a hard science that can be cracked open with some algorithmic formula. It's a nuanced art, expressed through joyous, ragged-edged, mindful practice. Travel is not some consumer product you buy into. It is something that you give to yourself. Over the course of 366 one-page meditations, one for each day of a leap year, the Vagabond's Way mimics the progression of a journey. Travel inspiration and planning, getting started on the road, expanding one's comfort zone, learning from the quiet complexities of the journey, and circling back home. As with the journey, these meditations are best approached slowly, one day at a time, reflecting on each day's nuances before moving on to the next. Though this book can technically be listened to in its entirety over the course of a few days, it's designed to be taken in incremental doses, in the same manner that one might visit a gym or a dance studio, steadily benefiting from the daily ritual over the course of a year. The Vagabond's Way is about the mindset that can enlarge each day on the road, however long the journey might be. Though some of the historical and literary allusions you'll hear refer to travels that span multiple continents over the course of many years, its insights apply as readily to short-term, close-to-home journeys. And while the word vagabond is traditionally defined as a person who wanders from place to place with no fixed home, this book affirms that travel is as much a way of being as it is an act of movement. Some travel themes reappear in slightly different form numerous times over the course of the year. Often these recurring themes reinforce the kinds of issues that the travel industry would have us ignore. Issues like traveling light, going slow, letting go of rigid plans, staying open to surprise, embracing boredom, celebrating disorientation, shutting off our technology, spending less money, wandering away from tourist zones, looking beyond cultural stereotypes, and developing travel habits that benefit local economies. These thematic repetitions are deliberate and serve as a kind of gentle refrain that encourages the listener to consider and reconsider these travel virtues. At its best, this book will not just explore ideas about mindful travel, it will make you want to travel, and in doing so, to enrich your life in ways you don't yet understand. If midway through listening to this book, you've already begun packing for a journey you've concluded you can no longer postpone, it's done its job. January-February. Dreaming and planning the journey. January 1st. An inarticulate ache to travel is worth paying attention to. Homesickness is a feeling many know and suffer from. I, on the other hand, feel a pain less well known, and its name is outsickness. When the snow melts and the stork arises and the first steamships race off, then I feel the painful travel unrest. Hans Christian Andersen in an 1856 letter. Though the English word Wanderlust, defined as a strong desire to travel, was borrowed from German in the early 20th century, it actually has a slightly different connotation in its original tongue. The word lust implies desire in both languages, but while the German word wandern is often assumed to have a direct relation to the English word wander, its literal translation means to hike. A more descriptive German expression of the desire to travel is, in fact, Fernweh, which combines fern, meaning distant, with weh, meaning ache. Fernweh is perhaps best apprehended as farsickness, a kind of antonym to homesickness, or Heimweh. In this way, Fernweh can be understood as a quieter, more personal urge than Wanderlust, a persistent longing to escape the confinement of the familiar and give oneself over to unseen places and experiences. Fernweh is the ache to widen one's horizons, to be at home in the unfamiliar, to begin anew and reinvent oneself in the context of the as-yet unknown. While there is a certain vagueness to being homesick for the road, of longing to experience what you can't quite describe since it has yet to happen, a logical way to honor your feelings of Fernweh is to quietly start planning a journey. In seeking to embrace unseen lands, you'll allow yourself to embrace unseen parts of yourself. January 2nd. An intangible sense of wonder is a great reason to travel. The best travel experiences are simple. They can't be planned. It's just a feeling of something genuine, knowing you're lucky to be in exactly that place at exactly that instant. Shannon Leon Fowler, Kindness of Strangers, 2020. In the 15th century, an Arabic manuscript entitled The Book of Hidden Pearls was said to contain directions to a hidden oasis known as Zerzura. Rumored to be located in the desert region west of the Nile, Zerzura was said to feature peaceful inhabitants, abundant gardens, and pristine white buildings. Though no copies of the Book of Hidden Pearls existed by the time European Egyptologists began to dig for antiquities in northern Africa, the location of Zerzura became a fixation for many early 20th century travelers in the region. In 1929, Hungarian explorer László Almasi, who later became the fictionalized protagonist of Michael Ondaatje's 1992 novel The English Patient, spent more than a year searching for Zerzura with a convoy of Ford Model A trucks, but found nothing beyond a few uninhabited rain oases. In his 1935 book Libyan Sands, British explorer Rolf Bagnold, who had accompanied Almasi in the 1929 expedition, asserted that Zerzura was less significant as a mythical desert oasis than as a metaphor for the intangible sense of wonder that comes with an encounter with the unfamiliar. I like to think of Zerzura as an indefinite thing, taking different shapes in the minds of different individuals according to their interests and wishes, he wrote. An excuse for the childish craving so many grown-ups harbor secretly to break away from civilization. As with Zerzura, sometimes our motivations for travel, the goals we have in mind for a given journey, are less important than the wondrous meanderings that await us on the road. January 3rd. Find ways to make your time on Earth miraculous. Since time is the one immaterial object which we cannot influence, neither speed up nor slow down, add to nor diminish, it is an imponderably valuable gift. Maya Angelou, Wouldn't Take Nothing from My Journey Now, 1993. Japanese conceptual artist An Karawa's Today series, which began in 1966 and lasted for decades, consisted of several thousand hand-painted canvases that simply depicted the calendar date on which the painting was made. His I Got Up series consisted of postcards recording his daily wake-up time, as well as the date and his location, from 1968 to 1979. Another series consisted of telegrams sent to various friends over the course of several years, each bearing the lone phrase, "I am still alive." Though Karawa isn't the only artist to have used a personal lens to explore the notion of time and its passing, the droll simplicity of his work has an uncanny way of accentuating the fleeting nature of aliveness. At the risk of oversimplifying the ancient Greek understanding of time, Karawa's stubborn focus on the uniformity of chronos, sequential time, helps us understand that life's
Sample complete. Ready to continue?